bowline or bowline knot, right over left. We have all 3 lengths ready to go around this cordage 3 times. In this video, we're going to show you how to prepare a quick deploy ridgeline that'll set up quick and easy for you every time. And we're going to set up and check out this new Tarp Rainfly I just received in the mail. I'm Will, and welcome to Will Survive. Some type of ridgeline is used in most camping tarp setups and hammock setups. So if you enjoy camping this way or practicing survival skills, you're going to be setting up a ridgeline quite often. So it pays to learn how to make this process as quick and easy as possible without skimping on reliability and durability. This ridgeline system is proven to be quick, easy, and reliable, and loved and used by many, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel here. Plus, once you have it all set up the right way, you only have to remember 1 knot to get it set up. And tear down is quick and easy as well. Now let's go inside and I'll show you how to do the one-time ridgeline setup. Then we'll come back out here and I'll show you how quick and easy it is to deploy this particular ridgeline setup. If you'd like to learn more about bushcraft skills, survival gear, how to use it, and where to get it more affordably, start right now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Okay, so we're inside now. We got everything we need laid out so that we can make the whole quick deploy setup. Again, like I said out there, once we set this up 1 time, the only thing you have to know is the 1 knot to pull it through and put your toggle. Okay, so we're going to bring the camera in closer now so you can see the whole process from start to finish, and then we'll go back outside and set up that new tarp. So we have everything we need here. We have our 550 paracord with the end already melted and ready to go. And we have our number 36 tarred bank line. And again, no matter which one you're using, you're definitely going to want to melt the end so it doesn't fray and unwind on you. And we have a lighter and a small pocket knife so that we can cut our cordage. So the first thing we're going to want to do is get, like we see over here, we see 3 loops. We're going to want to start with about 1 foot length here, and then we'll burn each end with our lighter. So we got about 1 foot here. I'm going to cut that off and I'm going to make 3 of these. If you have a tarp that has 4 or 5 nylon loops along the length, you can put 4 or 5 of these Crucic knots or monkey fist knots if you want to. Okay, now we're done with this. I like to wrap this up by putting it around my thumb here to make a space and just wrap it around twice. If you wrap it around twice, same thing with your shoelaces. Don't just poke it through once, poke it through twice. Therefore, it'll bind on itself and it'll help it to stay. Okay, now we have our 3 lengths here. Now we're just gonna burn each end. I usually hold it for about 5 seconds or until the end just starts to catch on fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then dab it as you turn it. Dab, turn, dab, turn, dab, turn. And then when you can feel that it's cool enough to touch, then just pinch it between your fingers and roll it. And then we'll do the other end the same way. Now we have all 3 lengths ready to go. So now when we tie these together, which is the next step here, we want to make a loop. Tie a knot around with the other tag end inside the hole of the knot. So we'll just poke that through and make a knot so that this is going through the other knot that we just made, and then we'll do the same thing with this knot to go around the other piece. So the tag end around. I hope you can see this is pretty small. There, now once we have this, you see 2 knots, they can slide this way and they can slide in towards each other. Now that's when it's really strong, because no matter how hard you pull that knot, it's going to get tighter and tighter on itself, yet you can pull the 2 tag ends and it'll still slip, but it'll never come undone. So I'm going to do that with all 3 of these. And this is the way I suggest you do it. They call this a, I believe, a fisherman's knot. So we're going to do this 2 more times. I'm going to simply tie a knot with the other tag end in the middle of that knot. And then give us some space and do the same thing with the other one. Just tie a normal overhand knot. So the next part is the hard part, is the bowline or bowline knot. Some people can see a knot one time and have it in their mind forever. Some people, it takes you a few times. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. Whichever one makes more sense to you, use that one. But again, once we have this whole thing set up, we never have to worry about any of this again. So let's get a little more, make it a little bigger and a little easier to see. So this is my left hand. This is my right hand. I'm going to go right over left. I'm going to take our tag end. I'm going to come up through here. Around, the majority of our line is coming here. We're going to go around that and then back through both of these. So we have basically 2 loops. We have a big loop. This is the loop that's going to get pulled through. And then we have this. This is the one that we want to adjust at this point to make the loop the size that we want it. This is barely big enough. So I'm going to pinch those 2 together and I'm going to pull this all the way through. And then we have our bowline or bowline knot. You see it comes through, the tag end comes through the same direction that the loop does, which is uncommon in most knots. That's one of the differences where you can tell for sure a bowline or bowline knot is that tag end comes through. Now we can see that once this is set up, you can pull this and it won't slip through. We have a loop that's going to always be here. It's not going to pull through on you. It's always going to be here, so that when we wrap around the tree, we take a bite, we poke it through there, we put a stick or toggle. In this case, I'll use the lighter and then use my hand as a tree, and we can just cinch that down. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's going to stay nice and tight as long as this end is continuing to apply pressure. And then when we want to loosen it up, just like we showed you outside, or though we'll show you again once we get outside, but we could just take our toggle out and the whole thing falls apart just like that, but we still always have our bowline knot for the next time. Bowline knot the second way, same, it starts the same way. I'm going to go left over right, and then I'm going to fold this over the majority, the rest of the line, which it's escaping my mind what to call this. The short end is your tag end, and then this is the majority of it. As you can see here, it's attached to this whole bundle. So fold it over the majority, pull that through like we're doing a half hitch, and then we're going to take our tag end and put it through what we just pulled through. And then again, we're going to want to pinch the 2 lines that just went through and let everything else cinch down. So one thing I like about this way is the other way is 2. I put 2 fingers that way, or you can put 3 fingers, however big you want your bowline knot to be. Put those amount of fingers in while you're holding this together and pull the other part through. Left over right, fold it, fold the whole knot over the majority of the line. So you see the line is in the center. We're going to pull this up to make another loop, and then we're going to go through the loop and pinch it onto the part that we just poked through. And then again here, when you're doing this, it's kind of natural when you're grabbing this to put your fingers where they need to be because you're grabbing it. So decide at this point before you poke this through, do I want it 1, 2, or 3 fingers size of a loop? So in this case, I'm going to do 3 fingers this time and hold it, and then pull your main length all the way through. And then when you're done, you have your bowline knot which again will not slip. So make sure you have enough tag end to do what we're going to do. So again, make your left over right, fold it over the majority of the line, pull some through, and then when you grab this, decide 1, 2, or 3 fingers, poke it through and hold it onto the string that you're already holding to size your thing, to size your end up your bowline loop. And there we have it. And again, it won't go through. It'll just get tighter and tighter and tighter. So now we're going to do our Crucick or monkey fist knot. So the biggest thing to think about is where we want this fisherman's knot. As you can see, I have all 3 here. This one is right up where the monkey fist part is. This one's somewhere in the middle, and this one's all the way at the end. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect the mechanics of how the knots work, but trying to, so you can see it better, I'm going to work with this end, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So all we're really going to do is I'm going to place the string under. Doesn't really matter, over, under. The only thing we're really trying to do here is wrap this one around this cordage 3 times. That's really all there is to it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to pull it through. And then dress it up if you like, and that's all there is to the Crucick or monkey fist knot. So we have the same thing that we have over here. We have a knot that'll slide along your cordage both ways when you slide, when you actually grab the knot itself. And then when you apply pressure here sideways, it will not move in either direction. It will stay there, so your tarp or whatever you're working with is going to stay in place. So even though that's nice and tight, again, I can just whoop, I can move it side to side if I touch the actual knot here, but as soon as I apply pressure to the end, it will not move. That's the secret and the beauty to this Crucick or monkey fist knot. So we got one here, and we're going to do the other 2 the exact same way. Again, it doesn't really matter where this fisherman's knot is not going to affect the mechanics of your knot. But just for display purposes, I'm going to try to work with this end so you can see better what's going on here. So again, I'm going to put the tarred bank line underneath the 550 paracord, the smaller section here and the larger section here, and I'm so another important thing to know here when we're doing this is you notice the diameter of the 550 and the diameter of the bank line is certainly different. You know, the bank line is thinner, and that is very important. You want to make your Crucick loops with line that is thinner than the ridge line itself. Okay, then I like to have all 3 of these fairly close to my bowline knot. I'm going to make a Spock, put this through there, and then I'm going to do the other one, Spock, and then this way. Spock, hang 10, Spock, hang 10, wrap it around. Pinky, thumb, figure 8, pinky, thumb, and just do that until you have, about a foot, depending on the length, how much you need to wrap around. Okay, I have fit. I'm going to give myself a little extra here and just grab the whole bit and slip your fingers out. So you have the whole length here ready to go. And then I'm going to, with my tag end here, I'm going to just hold that down on there, make a 90-degree turn, start wrapping around, and then when you come back around, overlap where you just did. Can you even see that? Overlap, and then just start going down that line. This cordage next to that one, this wrap next to that one until you get it down. Then when you get to the end where you just have enough for one, go around your thumb to make a little space, come back around, and just like we did with the other cordage, wrap it twice. One, and then wrap it around one more time. That way it will bind on itself. And just like up against a tree, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and it'll tighten down. You have your whole section there ready to go. And once you get out to the field, all you have to do is pull on your bowline knot and the whole thing comes out. Nice and easy. If you'd like to learn more about bushcraft skills, survival gear, how to use it, and where to get it more affordably, start right now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So the first thing we're going to want to find is a toggle, or in other words, just a stick. So we find a nice stick here. And we're just going to break off a piece to make a toggle. And then with our bowline knot end, we're just going to take a couple of things out here. And when we're going to wrap this section around the tree, make sure you slide all three of your fist knots far enough down the line so you have enough line to wrap all the way around the tree. So all we want to do is take a little piece of the string through the bowline knot that we've already made and put your toggle in there. And then we can just cinch it down, go back and forth until it's nice and tight. And there you go. The reason for this is so this will make easy setup and tear down with this thing. All you have to do is loosen it up, pull the stick out, and the whole thing releases like that. So again, around the tree, bring a little piece of cordage through there to make a loop. Got that. Pull it tight against the tree and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until the whole thing is nice and tight up against the tree. And then we have our 3 monkey fist knots. The whole thing just comes right out, just like that. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So I'm just going to take the whole thing out and then we'll just wrap around this tree here. And then these branches are kind of in the way. It's kind of hard for that camera to see, which is why I have this camera here on my head. We're going to take this and we're going to basically sonkyo with our wrists. We're going to wrap it around our hand and then we're going to reach for the tag end and we're going to pull that through. And pull that a little tight. Then we're going to put our stick through there. So this is the quick release part of it. If the stick isn't there, this will come right out. So we put the stick in there just so it doesn't come out on you. And we're going to pull this nice and tight. And there we go. And if you have a whole bunch of cord, you can just wrap it up. And the further away you are from the tree, the more acute this angle is, and the more you're going to be able to take your excess and just winch it right in there, and it'll hold there for you. Now we have our 3 monkey fists. So one goes on one end, one goes in the middle. That looks about the middle to me, and then one goes on this side. So now we'll get our tarp. Let's take a look at the accessories bag it came with. Let's see if these are any good. I'm guessing probably not. This is a fairly budget choice of tarp. It's basically designed after the DD tarp, which are pretty well known, pretty decent tarps. So let's see what we got here. Okay, it came with some cordage, several different pieces with these little slip things. Those are kind of useful, but the cordage itself is not all that great, but plenty good enough for just tying up a tarp, I guess. And it came with these, oh I see, aluminum types. These are pretty much useless. If you have to bang these in with a rock, these are no good. You'll be better off carving a stick to the right diameter and size and everything you want to do. If you have hard ground, carve a nice round tip. If you have soft ground, carve a flat tip so there's more surface area for your stick to push up against. This is the basically 10 foot by 10 foot or 3 meters by 3 meters. I can already see that we have nylon, fairly thin. I can feel it's kind of rigid. It's maybe not the best nylon, but I see they put an extra piece of what kind of feels like Gorilla Tape feeling kind of stuff here. So not too bad. There's no grommets, but grommets always tear out anyway. So I would rather have a nylon loop sewed with both sides with an extra piece here. So it's not too bad at first look. So again, we're gonna want 3 more toggles. So we'll take our stick here that I found before and we'll just break off 3 more sections. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so we got 3 toggles here. I'll just lay one down right there, lay one in the middle, and then toss one over there on that side. And let's hope this is the spacing between these 2 trees is going to be enough for what we're doing here. So simply enough with these monkey fists knot, we just want to pull it through the loop or the grommet or whatever you have in your situation, and then just put your stick through. And then you can slide this. If you're pushing this way, it slides nice and easy, but as soon as you apply downward pressure, you can see it won't move either direction, only if you push up on the line. And that's why the monkey fist knot or crew stick knot works so darn well. So let's do the other side. Okay, we have just barely enough room, so let's slide this over a smidge. And then we'll find our toggle here I left for me. And then same thing over here. We're just gonna grab our thing. We're gonna pull our monkey fist or crew stick knot through, put our stick through or toggle, and then slide this until it's taut. And then it'll stay taut until we decide to make it untaut. Got a spider on me there. Oh yeah, that thing's coming close. The lawnmower, of course, is gonna come right for me here. Isn't that just the way? Every time you start filming something, there's a lawnmower or a weed whacker or a blower every time, right? Yeah, there he is over there. Okay, so then we're gonna take our tarp. I'm gonna do a basic lean-to with a tuck under, so that you have a place to sit, or basically ground cover and a lean-to in one. One, and I'd rather do the sides before the middle. Pull it taut, but not too tight. That's good enough. And maybe we will put one in the middle. So we can also stake the edges down, and then you see how it's folded under. So we have an underlayment included with our tarp setup. You can see how nice and flat and not very wrinkled. Looks good. One thing I'm going to do in this case is I brought a towel just to protect the tarp. So I'm gonna put the towel under the tarp so I can sit down for a second, so that anything on the ground doesn't poke through the tarp. You've got sticks, twigs, pine needles, pine cones, all these things that could possibly damage your tarp. So I'm gonna put this little towel down just to protect the tarp a little bit. there. So I'll just sit right there where I put that towel. And so basically, there we have it. Again, I'm Will. This is Will Survive. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one, and later on.